This is Aaron Levine, LG Insurance Agency, hanging out on the Who You Work With Matters podcast with my social media star, or my behind the scenes social media star, Kelly Craig Loth, from Social Stamina. Like, how does it feel to be on the other side of the camera right now?
It's interesting. I typically do not, when I first started Social Stamina, I never wanted to be in front of cameras. And then Instagram evolved and I realized that I need to become the face of the company. And yeah, getting outside your comfort zone is something that I can now relate to my clients when they're saying, oh, I don't want to be on camera. Like, I get it.
The social media manager is like, no, I'm supposed to be on the other side. Well, why does your Instagram suck? Right?
Exactly.
Like that's one of the first questions when you're hiring a social media company, right? Is, well, why does your own social media suck? And why are you not behind it? Because I don't want to be in front of the camera. I want to be behind it,
Hmm.
making you look good, but you do a great job on both sides of the camera,
Thank you.
with your own social, and obviously helping us do a great job with our social at Luxury Group INS on Instagram and wherever you can find us.
Yes.
So let's talk about your inspo to start your business first. Then I want to dive into obviously some charitable stuff because you do so many things with Big Brothers Big Sisters,
Yes.
and then see where this thing goes. So tell me,
Sure.
how did you get into Social Stamina? What was it?
Originally, I wanted to be a reporter.
Oh,
I wanted to be, and it's funny because it is the same skills. It's the same skill set of being a fly on the wall, learning what's going on, writing what you see, reporting on what's going on, and I was writing the Kelly Craig Park Press as a kid. I would grab fax paper back then and would write these newspapers out, just local goings on. And then when I went to journalism school, it left a funny taste in my mouth. I didn't really love the idea of not being in control of the type of messages that you were sending. So I was like, okay, well,
aha.
how can I use this to my advantage? I knew I didn't want to change. Back then there wasn't a social media class
Right.
that you could take. Everything was very new. So I was flirting with marketing, but I wasn't completely there yet. And I was in California, about to graduate. I had an opportunity to help a company with their social media,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know how to start a business. So I went to every business professor's door. I knocked on all these doors. Hey, you're not in my class. I don't care. I am looking for some advice. Let's chat. Got everyone's advice, started building Social Stamina, and then I was working as an independent social media manager for a
Right.
while. And then Who You Work With Matters. You can't, I wasn't a one-person operation anymore. I needed to build out. And now I've got an awesome team.
That's so cool. So back to the Kelly Craig Park Press. I'm more interested to know if Kelly Craig, super sleuth as a 10-year-old, saw Mrs. White from down the street have any strangers coming out the side door that got reported on.
Yes, there were situations like that. Why is my one neighbor leaving in the middle of the night? Why is, I was a problem child. A lot of the time the big story would be, my brother left his backpack at school and now, mom and dad have to go back. Like, it was really silly, but
So-and-so's dog got out and,
yes. Oh yeah. Or someone just made the soccer team. Congratulations. It was interesting.
So you look at what you did there, right? So this was at 10 years old, and now you have what's like the neighborhood watch, like social email that I get. I get some email from some stupid neighborhood thing. Like everybody posts on their local neighborhood chat
They
or some
have like
board.
patch
Maybe
sort
it's
of thing.
something, I forget what it's called, but I get this random email from like Monmouth Beach neighbors,
Neighborhood watch.
and it's all the dumbest stuff. Like
Yes.
somebody threw their dog's poop in my garbage can. Why did this neighbor do this? Why they don't have a permit? The dumpster's in the wrong spot. Like it's just tattletaling on. Or it's like a Facebook community group.
Yes,
But it's in my inbox every day, and I don't know
mhm.
why I signed up for it or how I signed up for it or why I keep getting it. and it's the worst crap in the world. And if I
Oh
try to
no.
log in, I don't have a password, so I don't even bother to figure it out because I don't want to know anymore. I have more important and better things to do with my life.
Hmm.
But it's just like, that is the Kelly Craig Park Press
Yes.
from 25
10
years
years
ago.
old, yes. Yeah, Lisa Frank notebook in hand. It sounds like someone's just continuing that.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
so much fun. But anyway, that was an awful tangent, but I'm like that just made me think about that. It's kind of funny.
and I mean, on social media, there's still people doing that. There's still people that are using social media just for that kind of thing, or they are using it for recipes
Right.
or for something more highbrow. And, your algorithms are going to change based on what you're looking for. So it can be a tool for,
Yeah.
I saw someone come home at, X hour of the night, or it could be, let me learn a skill.
Right.
Um,
Well, it's like when X first came out, Twitter first came out, people were like, I'm drinking a cup of black coffee from Starbucks right now, right? Those were
yes.
your 140 characters
Hmm.
on the early Twitter days. It's evolved significantly, but that's the first place you go for breaking news. I still think X is the best place to go for breaking news, right? For things that are happening, for current events. Like if you feel this building shaking and there's an earthquake in New Jersey, X is going to have it first before any other platform, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So it's still relevant, but it's just funny, how things have been able to evolve. And now we're sitting in a studio where there's social media stars that come in here and shoot for 10 hours of video content that is mindless, but they get millions of views, and we're going to
Yes.
fight to get 1,500 views
Hmm.
on this interview. It's but it is what it is. That's our society.
Yes.
That's our
And it's
society.
also creating places and spaces to start conversations.
Hmm.
And now I think so many, especially smaller businesses, think that they need to adapt to into other conversations and not realize that they have the capacity to build their own.
Hmm.
If you see that there's if there's a spot in the market that you don't think a conversation is happening enough, start it. You're
Right.
you're the person available to create that new change, or start building a community
Hmm.
for the topic that you want that might not be TikTok dancing.
So community is a great topic, and I just finished a book called Bold by Peter Diamande. He's big into space, and the whole book revolves a lot around crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and how to build a Kickstarter campaign. So it goes into all these different subjects, and it's how to build a community around what you want to create.
Yes.
So there's one chapter in there on building a community. To me, that was the most relevant chapter in the book because I don't have a product. I'm not building a product that I want to start a campaign to raise $1 million for, right? Or try to raise 500,000 and then accidentally raise 13 million, which are some great Kickstarter stories out there. But it's like the community. How do you build that community? How do we create that content that people want to participate in? And that's almost the Who You Work With Matters podcast is the start of my community. And that's why I took it away from the And Insurance podcast to get away from the insurance a little bit and build up the business. And that's why I love having local business owners like yourself on here. You provide so much value, and there's always a way to learn, so taking the Who You Work With Matters and then building that into a community is what I should probably do more of. And I guess we're going to have to start working on this project in the next near future and do less on the insurance side, because the insurance side is going to come
Hmm.
with being the subject matter expert and the leader of whatever community we're building.
And if you take a look at the reports, it's working. You have people who are having conversations. We can see through your analytics,
Right.
who you were talking to previously and how many more business owners are now engaged with your
Hmm.
content.
Love that.
And you want to continue to cultivate and continue to engage with those business owners,
Hmm.
and so that it just builds on top of itself,
Right.
and more people who, if I see that you like something,
Hmm.
then I might also.
Right.
And it's really, as long as you're involved and engaged,
Hmm.
it does work. It takes time for sure.
Takes time.
But it's, yeah,
When
every
people ask
day.
me about starting a podcast, I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, do it. If you're going to be consistent and you can make a plan to get to your 50 episodes, then do it. It doesn't have to be every week, right? But it's got to be it's got to be every month, and you have to build a plan to get to 50. If you don't think you're going to want to get to 50, or you want to dip your toe in and do 1, 2, 3, or 4,
Then be a guest
then
on somebody
you're
else's.
not going to get there. Be a guest on
Yeah.
somebody else's. Like, being a guest is one of the best things that you can do,
Hmm.
because then you're shared in multiple places, which is the best. And selfishly, having you here right now, I'm going to get so much more out of this, because you're going to be sharing it all over Social Stamina. So it's going to, really, really blow it up. You're like, Aaron said 1,500 views. We're going to make sure we get to 2,500. So
Definitely. And any networking groups that we're a part of, having them share things out too, as
Right.
as many connections as you can,
Right.
for sure.
So top of mind, right? So engagement, and having that engagement face to face is also very important. That's where we first met, at the La Tip of Red Bank, and being face to face and seeing what you're doing and hearing about what you're doing on a consistent basis is what led us to engage in this relationship, to be able to work together, right? So I love the face to face, but being out there in social is also very important. But truly, that face to face makes me think a lot about the people that I see on a regular basis, when I'm out networking. Those are the best conversations, because then you can continue those conversations offline on social at the same time. And with our Latip group, if anybody out there is looking to join an amazing networking group on Thursday mornings, we are now moving, hopefully permanently, to Lifetime, the Lifetime Athletic Club, Thursday mornings, 7 a.m. Reach out to either of us if you want more information. Sorry, I had to put that commercial out there.
Reach out to us
But
on Instagram so I get some extra credit for that one. Yes.
I think this new location is going to bring some energy to the group.
Definitely. And I think exactly what you're saying, having social media leverage the interactions that you are having in person. So often people are thinking social media and thinking of it separately than their in-person conversations. And they aren't two separate vessels that are working alongside each other. They
Right.
need to interact. So that's why I always encourage anyone that is going to any networking event, anyone that's in person with anyone, I always like to add the habit of, when you get into your car, before you, turn your car on, think of the people that you just interacted with. If you
Right.
want to continue interacting with them, follow them on Instagram.
Right.
Start engaging with them on social media. And then you can continue those conversations.
I love that. So back to the community thing, which is so important about the community we're building right here, plus the community that you're building around Social Stamina. You tie in a charity component to a lot of your community building. So why don't you talk to me about what you're doing for Big Brothers Big Sisters right now?
Certainly. So I had a few really fun ways to raise money for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Okay.
It started with I like to get myself uncomfortable.
You're singing songs.
Yes. I like to get, and exactly. I like putting myself in uncomfortable situations, because that's where we grow, right? So I started, first it was May I Sing For You. So every May we ask for a donation and a song for us to we will either lip sync or, we will recreate that music video
Okay.
or something like that and make it really fun. I also did the 4x4x48, which was a David Goggins challenge. I ran 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. But I raised, the goal was to raise $4,800. We raised $5,000. So I
Awesome.
wound up running a couple extra miles there. But it was a great experience. And now I will be singing at the Macy's Day Parade. I am unsure what I signed up for here, but my
Brilliant.
little sister in Big Brothers Big Sisters is a professional singer.
Okay.
She has had some singing engagements. So I think I told her, you're the one that's carrying this. I'm just going to be there. My
So
lips
just
might
the
move.
two of you, or are you part of a chorus? Like,
So we are one of 10 matches across the country that are being flown in or trained into New York City to be a part of a float. So there is going to be a Big Brothers Big Sisters float in the Macy's Day Parade, and we will be in costume, and I will be singing and some kind of dancing. I am not sure what's going on,
All right.
but I'm looking forward to it.
When's the dance lesson? When's the choreography getting set up? Like where are it's like November.
Oh,
Like,
I know. It's so
we're gonna have to
on
get this episode out before,
yes.
parade day so people can look out for you.
Yes, keep an eye out for Big Brothers Big Sisters at the Macy's Day Parade. We are set to arrive on Sunday, and we were told under no uncertain terms that we will have rehearsals from Sunday through Wednesday,
Oh wow.
getting ready for Thursday, the
You're
big
all
big.
in.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. They it's a all in or all out, and we are all in people. So we're gonna do this.
Are you allowed to shoot BTS while you're there,
Oh
while you're
yes,
rehearsing and all that? It's
definitely.
nothing's on the hush. You're gonna be able to share it all.
Yes, yes. Macy's is pretty careful about what type of content is out there promoting.
Right.
But I will be certainly sharing the experience on Social Stamina.
That's so cool. So what drew you into Big Brothers Big Sisters? How did you get involved?
So I started getting involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters actually from my sorority.
Okay.
When I was in Theta Phi Alpha at Ramapo College, I wasn't able to get a little in the sorority because I played field hockey, I studied abroad, I wasn't around a lot. And I decided, I didn't have that kind of experience. So why don't I do this in the real world, and see if there's an opportunity to talk to someone, to
Right.
help someone out. In a different kind of mentorship way. And so I've been matched 3 times in the 6 years that I have
Okay.
been involved in the organization. I'm now on the board, and it's been an incredible experience. It's been so much fun, and I'm blessed to have mentors and be a mentee
Right.
within this organization.
So if somebody wanted to get involved and has thought about it, what would be the first steps to getting involved and
Reaching out
getting a
to
little?
me.
Okay.
And I can share the experience. So often we think that being a big in Big Brothers Big Sisters is a giant time commitment, or it's going to be something that's overwhelming, which is not the case.
Right.
It's a once a week, an hour a week.
Hmm.
And then as they grow, my little sister is now beyond the program. There's something called Big Futures, where
Okay.
now she's in college. We don't have the same relationship as we did when she was the big in Big Brothers Big Sisters, but we're maintaining our friendship,
That's so cool.
and continuing to stay in touch with one another and guiding one another.
So how have you grown and, developed yourself personally and professionally by being a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
I think it's important to give yourself the opportunity to see other perspectives,
Okay.
and especially in social media and marketing, it's important to understand different perspectives,
Hmm.
and that certainly helps whenever we're posting something out. On social, you might think of a certain type of person who's reading it, but you're posting it to the public.
Right.
So staying in tune with all the different voices of the public, all the different experiences of the public, that really changes, how you might present yourself. So I think it's
Mhm.
important. Big Brothers Big Sisters definitely helps in that capacity, as well as it's. I mean, it's fun. We have fun.
I
We
mean, that's the
have
most important thing, right? Having
Yes.
fun in everything that you do, everything that we do is important. I don't do it unless I'm having fun.
Exactly. I loved you had I think it was one of your earliest episodes saying that, Monday morning, if you're not excited, you got to make some
I
changes.
love Monday mornings.
Yes.
Love Monday
hmm
mornings.
Who's having Sunday night scaries? Maybe a Miami Dolphins fan, but other than that,
Jets fan, a Giants
yes,
fan.
exactly. But sports aside, it's a time you should be excited,
Right.
and if not, then coming up with ways to make things more exciting.
Sure. Yeah, Mondays are my favorite day of the week. I just love the way to get it started and hopefully be a little fresh. Hopefully the team is a little bit fresh, and being able to bring positive energy to the team to kick the week off. Now, it's also important to end Friday, if Friday's the end day, without having so many things in the air, right? You don't want to have 20 balls in the air on Friday afternoon, because then you're not going to stop thinking about it all weekend, and I'm guilty. I work over the weekends. I pick up some tasks and do some things. But come Sunday night, I don't want to have to think about anything, because I don't want to wake up at 3 in the morning and not sleep. because that's what happens quite often. I usually save that for like a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, than not sleeping and waking up and then having to finish things up. But being cleaned up and having your set schedule for Monday, if you're disciplined enough, having it written out Friday. Okay, Monday, here's my task, right? Here's the three things that I want to accomplish on a Monday. This is from the Dan Sheridan's book, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, right? Not 10x is greater than 2x, but Gap in the Gain. Your 3 wins for each day, and what are your 3 wins going to be for tomorrow? So scheduling, you're setting yourself up for success. Is my 3 wins today are, being here. I had a good meeting this morning, and we're onboarding a new employee, right? My 3 wins are set. I also have other evening activities, so there'll be more wins today, but I can celebrate the 3, and then I can have my 3 scheduled out for tomorrow. I know what my wins are going to be for tomorrow. I mean, hopefully one of them is sleeping in a little bit after a late night tonight. But, I find that super important, taking that out of that book. What are your 3 wins? If you get those 3, you've had a pretty good day.
Yes.
Right? You can have 10, but don't have 1, right? And there's so many different ways to find a win in your day. It just takes a little bit of practice. And, if you write them down and journal them, which I was doing, I should probably start doing again, it really ingrains it in your brain a little bit better. So,
I love journaling. I think it's a big part of how Social Stamina started.
Okay.
Because when I, as an independent, business owner, especially when it was just me,
Right.
I was always trying to, that was my meeting.
Okay.
was me in a journal, since I had,
Right.
no one else bouncing ideas off of. But I remember I would always write down not only my wins, but I would also do, I'd write out a list if there was anything that week that was not fun, figuring out what those things were, and then how do I make this more fun, or how do I give this to somebody else? That's how
That's perfect.
I boring proofed my business,
Right.
through, figuring out what am I not excited about?
Right.
And either make it exciting or find someone who thinks it's exciting, because
That's so
there's always someone that will find, some people do things that we might not enjoy.
Right.
I don't do my own taxes. I don't find joy in, that part of accounting, but someone does. So
it's not necessarily about joy. It's being able to delegate that to, somebody that is an expert at that process, at doing those taxes, helping you plan to reduce taxes, and, get ahead of yourself as a business owner or an individual. I think is super important, right? Hiring the right people is a who you work with matters moment. And, I always say I want the right people to do the right thing so I can focus on what I do best. And right now it's sitting here talking to you, or else it's helping figure out an insurance related maze for, a business on how to help them reduce their costs, right? Whether it's their insurance premium or their costs, or find ways to close gaps in what they have if they've got too much risk on the table. That's what I enjoy doing. And yes, I'm going to hire somebody to do the taxes, and I'm going to hire somebody to answer my phone and make sure we have the right people in place to do all of that stuff. So right people, right seats, right? That's the Traction. If you've read that,
yes,
is a really good book. What books have inspired you? What have you been reading? Anything business wise or just like fun stuff?
I have been reading a lot of fun stuff. I think especially because I was reading so much marketing stuff.
Okay.
And then realized that, hey, when was this book published? Social media is a lot of the social media news and things of that nature are not books.
Right.
But I love reading. So it's I find, a lot of the time I'm reading just for fun. And getting my business and social media analytics kind of stuff through other sources.
It's good to check out also and not always have to be focused, because you're going to find inspiration in your fun reading as well. I'm not good at reading for fun. I'm going to do business for the most part when it comes to that. And I do a lot of Audible. I can't do handheld, although I did start reading Boys in the Boat.
Okay.
I have started that. That's an enjoyable read. I haven't watched the movie yet, but it's about the crew, Washington State in the 1930s, about going to the Olympics. So really cool story. So I'm reading that. That's more of a fun book. But again, there's inspiration in there and there's nuggets in there about building a team to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So how do you build the best team possible? What are the reps that you have to put in to get to that end game?
It's funny because
Translates.
the first business book that I ever had, I remember I sat down to read it and slammed it shut and left it on my desk knowing I know what to do.
Right.
Why am I waiting for somebody else to tell me? Like, I know it might have been a topic I was procrastinating about or
Sure.
something like that. But a lot of the time, and I keep that book on my desk. I have it. I like covered it because it doesn't matter what's in there. It's just knowing like, okay, if I have the time to sit and read this book, I
Right.
have the time to do whatever the task
That's so funny.
I am trying to, get done. And it's something that works for me.
That's your eat the frog reminder. So, some people have frogs on their desk. If you've heard the saying of eat the frog,
Yes.
you have a book on your desk that's like, nope, don't pick up the book. Get the fuck back to work, right?
Yes.
It's super important. What did I miss? We covered so many amazing topics. Is there anything else you want to anything else you want to share?
Just stay tuned for Macy's. Make sure that you turn
So cool.
Yeah, that you turn your TVs on for the Macy's Day Parade. Not only football this year, because Big Brothers Big Sisters is going to be out there. Don't listen too well. I'm nervous about the singing
I'm sure
aspect
you'll
of
be
this.
just fine.
But yes, we're excited.
A little auto tune and some voiceover. You'll be good. You'll be
For
good to go.
sure.
Kelly, thank you so much for hanging out. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Nice to see you.